grandmother's garden. She had a big garden. So we felt the need to move to just have more space to grow plants for our projects. But it turned out that the nursery became more successful than my designs in the beginning, because I had to focus on plant growing. I had a partner at the time, and that made that he came from Great Dixter. He worked there, so that was a possibility to meet all these English people, so that's why we became a sort of friends with most nurserymen at that time. That's why we could collect plants from England very easily, because everywhere we came, we could just more or less get or change or plants we saw. So that was a good start. We lived near the German border. That made it easy to come in contact with the German growers and Danish growers. So we traveled a lot to all those places in the beginning. There was no, we had no clients, no customers, so it was easy to. And a lack of money, so but we had to do something. So we traveled a lot. So we became a sort of intermediate place for people from England and Germany. So that's why we became well known with the nursery in the first years. We became very well known. Now people came to, because they saw, English people saw plants they've never seen before. There was a big sort of circle of gardens here in the Netherlands, the Sealand gardens and the gardens from the south. Yeah. That's Duffy, the dog.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're early birds, good in time. Normally I was a half hour too late, or an hour too late. So I say, how?
It depends on.
Maar you're welcome.
Maybe the eagerty of the people, I suppose.
Ja, je bent heel erg op de...
Yes.
Je zit erachter. Normaal zijn ze altijd veel laat.
Ja.
You're welcome.
But to continue the story, we picked up design again after, first there was, because we were very well known for our plants, the variety of plants, we met people that were like Prionatine, Henk Gerritsen, he came from the wild side of gardening. Uncontrollable, but very philosophical and nice guy where we became friends with, so it turned our mind towards plant, because we were looking for a less decorative style, which the English, I admire the English gardens very much for their skills and what people know about gardening, nothing and the craft. But we wanted to create something more spontaneous, and that's why the people we met at that time became so important for how we developed our style of gardening. So wild plants that behave very well, or cultivated plants that looked wild. So more or less that's sort of the credo. So they had to fit in our ID that they were not allowed to take over your garden. So we picked up design again in the 90s after making our first book, Designing with Plants. Was Dream Plants, a new generation of garden plants. That was in 1990. We wrote that. The book is out of print. And so that was that showed the plants we liked for our gardens, and they were different. They were indeed mostly more robust or taller, and garden centers still sold only low plants and annuals, biennials, and alpine plants. That was the majority of the plants you could that was available. So you couldn't find Japanese anemone on a pot. The pots were clay at that time, I think, more or less. They just, were they? No, plastic already. Sometimes you forget about where you started and where the story is. No, that is true. So, the book became a success. Was translated into Swedish, so so the circle of people we met through Europe became bigger and more interesting, because they all had an emphasis on perennials and grasses. Grasses were very low en vogue or in fashion at that time, so we had clients here and we already sold a variety of so many plants and bamboo at that time as well. they liked our gardening style, but they didn't know where to put the grass. So we had the clients that bought the grass. Said, "I'm going to try it. It looks so good here." And then they came back a week later. "I can't find a place in my garden for it." So that is about where we started.
Interesting. Wow. What a
But we
story.
just, we had a lot of publicity because the style was different, and magazines they just found us because it's like in the trade, they want something new, and they made us more or less sort of more fashionable in that time. And Hank died. We made another book with him. Planting the Natural Garden was the second book, but the first book was already 25 years ago. So it's quite a long time ago. And after that we made many books without being a writer, so bad writer. We always found people that could tell the story, or at least I would say, tell the story, that's it. Can I just, so the nursery greenhouses were here,